The Me Too campaign is giving a voice to many women who say they've experienced sexual harassment and abuse. Alex Wagner met with 5 women, all leaders in their own fields, who say they are now speaking out to help others. Alex, good morning. Such an important conversation to have for all of us.
Such an important conversation to have and to hear. The group we spoke with on Friday included Jennifer Hyman, co-founder and CEO of Runway, Sallie Krawcheck, who before founding the financial firm Ellevest was the CFO of Citigroup, Jane Rosenthal, co-founder of the Tribeca Film Festival and CEO of Tribeca Enterprises, Elaine Welteroth, editor-in-chief at Teen Vogue, and Jessica Howard, a 3-time national rhythmic gymnastics champion. Howard, along with several teammates, accused her former team doctor, Larry Nassar, of sexual assault while she was competing. All of these women shared their experiences and offered insight on how they hope to help more women as they continue coming forward.
When I started work on Wall Street, I remember one day leaning over a desk to work on a spreadsheet and turning around, and there was a guy behind me pretending to perform a sex act on me, with all the other guys watching and all the other guys laughing, and this sense of incredible shame.
You felt ashamed.
Absolutely, and how could I have leaned over the desk like that?
There's a problem in that we're kind of acculturated from the time we're growing up. If this locker room talk starts in high school with men thinking it's okay to over-sexualize women, like, what did we think was going to happen 30 or 40 years later when they get into the boardroom? If you think about incidents over the last year with Harvey Weinstein and Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly, these are companies where not just those individuals were extremely powerful, but everyone who runs that company in any position of power is a man.
Look, if you had women on the boards in those companies, you would not have had the kind of payouts. There's no way.
The majority of the cases, even that have come out, in some ways there are gray areas. It's very rarely black and white. You know, I think there is this problematic definition of rape as something that happens in a dark alley by a scary drunkard stranger. But the reality is that only 8% of women are raped by strangers.
Jessica, I want to get you in here. Did you know what was happening to you was wrong, and did you feel like there was someone at the Olympics committee, in management, somewhere on the team that you could go talk to help stop this behavior?
You know, I didn't. And I was in a position where I had to just trust this man. When news about Dr. Nassar started coming out, I realized I wasn't the only one. And more than 140 women have now come forward, and USA Gymnastics has done nothing. And I really believe that the entire board needs to resign. And there have been changes at Fox, there have been changes at the Weinstein Company, and USA Gymnastics is just going on with business as usual, and it's hurtful to me as a victim.
While we have victims or survivors coming forward and saying, "Me too," we need men to say, "I did that." We need men to step forward and to see themselves in these stories.
I think that there are a lot of men that are in shock as to what they believe normal behavior was. Harvey is an extreme case. That is a sexual predator, and for somebody to say, I grew up in a sexually promiscuous time is bullshit. Especially for somebody who is in media and always looks to be at the foreground of culture and also politics.
We're different ages, but we all know about Anita Hill, we know about Bill Clinton, we know about Bill Cosby. What makes this moment different?
The proliferation of social media and media outlets. Because back in the day, if I had wanted to say something, what was I going to do? What's different about this moment is we have a way to express our voices. What's also different about this moment is women are rallying around each other.
I don't know who said it, but Pandora's box is opened and Pandora is pissed. We have to band together, and now our foot is firmly in the door. Now what do we do, okay? Certain things happened then, but this is now. What do I do, and what do I say to my daughters? What do you say to your readers?
Do you think that young women, the readers of Teen Vogue, are more forthright about what's happening to them in their bodies than older women?
Yes, absolutely. But I think one thing I want to kind of put forward into this conversation is that it happens to strong, powerful women too. And so I think it's important, this messaging about, we need more women in these leadership positions, we need more women on boards, but it might still happen to you.
And that's actually the reason I spoke up, because I was sexually harassed after already raising over $100 million for my company, after having a successful company, and after I refused this investor's sexual advances. He called my board members and told them I was being unresponsive and should likely be fired. So he tried to come after my career when I rejected him.
What was your reaction to that?
I decided that the reaction had to be 100% transparency. Mm-hmm. So the second I heard that happened, I went to my board and I showed the text messages that I had received and shared the experience that I had had. And honestly, my board members were shocked, and we decided as a board to take immediate action together.
For me, as a woman who's dealt with some degree of it, and funnily enough, I actually saw the person that I've had an encounter with on the red carpet walking into the Glamour Women of the Year Awards. And in that moment, I, an empowered woman, a boss, someone leading the resistance for this generation, I felt conflicted. I haven't addressed it with this person. Mm-hmm. I'm still wrestling with it. How many other women feel that way? Mm-hmm. How many other women who are standing up and retweeting are still traumatized and still trying to unpack what happened?
We talk about what happens next, and we talk about that in the context of people outside immediate victimhood. But what happens next for victims? How do you feel since these allegations have been made public?
I've just come around to the anger. I really, really struggle, and I don't know if it's ever going to go away. And I think that's an important thing for people to understand, that this doesn't just dissipate the moment you speak up. It's almost the moment that you speak up that you can actually start to process.
Do you think that you can get to a point where this isn't the thing that you think defines you?
I hope so. I really do.
You will.
Yeah, and seeing you guys and just listening to everything that you've been talking about, it almost makes me want to cry, because I know that we can do what we need to do to make sure this never happens again, so that not one person has to come up and say, me too. And I am just very empowered by listening to you guys.
According to multiple reports, Jessica Howard's former team doctor Larry Nassar is expected to plead guilty to first-degree criminal sexual conduct charges in a Michigan court tomorrow. In a statement to CBS This Morning, USA Gymnastics said, "Our athletes are our priority, and we are committed to promoting an environment of empowerment that encourages speaking up, especially on difficult topics like abuse."
Well, Jessica certainly put them on notice. I thought she raised a very good point and raised some very troubling allegations about them. But I hope that this is more than just a moment of we talk about it and then it goes away, that we get used to a new normal. We've all had experiences where somebody does something, you go, well, that was bad, but it wasn't that bad. And now we have to face the fact that it's all bad. There are varying degrees, but it's all bad.
And I think this moment is one of catharsis and healing, but there is the question, when do the men sit down at the table with us? Because this is a conversation that needs to happen with both genders.
That's right.
I said earlier, it's systematic and it's pervasive.
Yeah.
And what it does is it cripples women's confidence, and it cripples their ability to succeed. And I think you have to understand that. And management has to understand that. Not just say we're going to create a safe work environment, actually create that environment.
And these are shattering experiences, and we need to make sure people are whole.
And zero tolerance too, Norah. Zero tolerance, very important. But I thought Jane Rosenthal had one of the best lines. Pandora's box is open and Pandora is pissed.
Pandora is pissed.
Yeah, she is. She's very pissed.
That was a smart idea to do that conversation.
It was great that
And we should say that was scheduled weeks ago, before that we are now, unfortunately, part of this conversation.
It is something
that panel was set up
that
a while
CBS
ago.
set up for weeks.
That's right.
Came to fruition on Friday.
That's right.
Good timing to be having this conversation.
Thank you very much, Alex.